This is episode 284 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dio Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel Nostra Manzano, Empire Meta Manzano.
Yep. My next prediction, Empire's going to win the next 3 tournaments. Main ones.
Will, costumes to an audio podcast, Hakewood.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Ryan, they must answer to the 4 whys, Staniszewski.
They must answer as to why there are no more Ys at 3-point cost. Why?
And James, Padme is good. I promise. Ritter.
Yeah, I just had a great event this weekend, and Padme saved me, like, I think 5 or 6 damage in 1 round. So Padme is good, I promise.
All right. As for announcements and news, points for the Battle of Yavin and the Siege of Coruscant, and some small, possibly though, big impact tweaks did happen. Those released last week on Wednesday. Obviously, we haven't had a podcast since last Monday. And then the Battle of Yavin packs have been released. They got released last Friday on the 28th. I went to go pick mine up today, and they had already sold them out. So I have to go find them from another source. But Battle of Yavin is available. Go pick it up at your friendly local game store. And just a quick follow-up from last week. Remember, we were talking about Aerodome. It did end up getting fully funded. They raised $41,000 in 3 hours, or $41,000 as to right now, and it was fully funded in 3 hours. But yeah, super excited to see how that goes. And if you're looking for a timeline, you're wondering when are you expecting to get everything, the timeline that they had there listed out there on the Kickstarter from the beginning was fulfillment should be happening in August of 2023. But I did hear word from the Wade Pache that Gold Squadron is going to be able to get our hands on some beta stuff so that we can start showing off the game and have some fun at our next Gold Squadron showdown. So we'll have some stuff to play with. All right, our podcast episodes are brought to you by our Gold Squadron patrons. Becoming a patron is the best way to support us here at Gold Squadron. If you become a part of that large group of supporters, you get swag in the mail from us. We are now shipping twice a year, but it's still 4 sets worth of stuff. Thank you to everybody who understood why we had to make that change with the shipping cost changes happening in the U.S. and around the world. But if you want to be a part of that group, go to patreon.com/Gold Squadron to become a patron today. All right, boys. We are looking at the point trending doc. All right, that's the one I'm going to be pulling up here. For anybody at home who is watching at home, we'll guide you through this as I go ahead and adjust our screen here. But today the plan is to go ahead and look at the changes that happened. Let's talk about how do you think these changes will impact the future meta. We heard Marcel saying that he thinks that the next 3 tournaments are going to be won by Empire. Which 3 tournaments are you talking about there, Marcel? Just so that we can clarify before we jump into this.
3 next qualifiers, which I believe are San Francisco. Mm-hmm. I think there's one in Canada, and Poland has one, I think, as well. So whatever the next 3 qualifiers are.
All right. So, my friends, let's go ahead and do we want to start with the changes that happen in the not new stuff and then jump into the new stuff? What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's hit the old stuff first, and then we can really dive deep on what even these new cards are that they release points for.
You underestimate how much of a deep dive we can do on even the small changes we got.
This is very true.
True. Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, let's take a look at these changes. So, just kind of going down my list here, I think the first one I end up hitting is right here, Wampa. The meta staple that has become synonymous with the Empire has gone up by 1 point from 2 to 3, and gained a couple loadout. Did his slots change? That is one thing I don't have here. Did the slots change on Wampa?
I think did he get a modification as well?
He
did.
Probably did, yeah.
Yeah, he got a modification. So now I can run target computer, baffle. The precision ion engines. Yeah.
Watch out.
Sloops.
Thoughts? I open it up to the table.
Oh, right into thoughts on the first pilot.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's talk about Wampa.
Do we want to talk about Wampa? Do we want to talk about just Jingo Wampa? Because they're kind of coupled together.
Sure, yeah.
Jingo
So-
Wampa and Valen all.
So they got this
previously 2 points.
Correct, and they all got the same
now.
treatment. Three squad points, 5 loadout now.
Valen Brudor, 4 loadout. Jingo is 2 loadout. Wampa 3 loadout.
Yeah, Valen did not get the mod slot though. Still can't take a target lock, unfortunately.
Well, but you can take trick shot, I guess.
I mean, why not? Oh, to barrel out of rocks, I guess. Or, either way,
That is pretty cool.
so no longer do they have that. What essentially like either 6 to 8 point combination that you run with Iden, Iden or Howl Runner as well.
Well, if you want that combination, now you have to do it on a generic level. The only 2 points left in Empire are Academies and Black Squadron Ace pilots, the I-1 and I-3.
I thought the I2
And I'm
was 2
sorry,
points as well.
Obsidian,
also.
I guess, is
Yeah,
Obsidian as
all
well.
the generics are 2.
I
And
just
no
ignore
loadout.
that the
Yeah.
Obsidian exists, because if I'm picking one, I'm either doing I-3 or I-1. I don't see a use for I-2, to be honest.
So is this going to
Block
be
the I3s.
Nash to fly him with Nash.
true?
That's about it.
Wait, why would Nash matter?
Because Nash is 2, so they can kind of choose who moves when and where.
Yeah, just ease.
Yeah, okay.
That shows that Ryan doesn't believe in Nash.
No. I believe in Nash. I think you're going to get more benefit for going with a better blocker or a better initiative killer than just being like, I want all my ships to move at the same time. Just as I get it, it's helpful. I think you can play around. If you're that low initiative, you're probably moving all your ships first anyway.
So who's the best 2-pointer then? Are you always bringing the I3?
No.
I think it's 100% meta dependent. It could be based on what's around. I value the I-1 kind of the most right now because of the blocking.
Do you bring one I-1 then and the rest I3s to try to vary it up so you have multiple blockers?
It would depend on what I'm bringing. In some of my list building, the 4 TIE fighters I've looked at bringing have been Iden, Moff Gideon, and 2 Academies. Just to say, here, Moff Gideon, here's some PUDs to go do your trigger for Moff Gideon. Seems good. But there's other stuff I'm trying. We can get into that later. I personally like the Academies a little more. I-1, I'm likely moving first. I take up the space. I take the box. I choose where I get to go in most cases. Sure, they can still red focus and get their action, but they're spatially not going to be able to get to where they want to go because I get to choose where I get to go first.
Good point. Let's go ahead. We're going to come back to the Battle of Yavin. We're going to keep sliding down here. The next change, I don't think there's anything else for Empire. I think the next one we end up getting ends up being, as I quick scroll here,
It's Commander Malorus in this list.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Underneath of Great Countdown there. You'll see.
I thought it was Hound. Oh no, yeah, right. You're right.
First order. There it is. Sorry, it's very, very light right there. So Malorus loses a single point of loadout. One loadout. What does this
missile for you?
Right, exactly. That's a
Or
change.
no more marksmanship or fanatical for the people who put that on for cluster
Their
missile.
cluster missiles already. I mean, was there a secret combo other than just the extra missile that? I mean, I was running concussion missile. I preferred it. But like, was it Like some sort of double, like Crackshot Predator was too good or something.
No, I think it was just people like clusters, especially in the kind of standard FO list we saw, because it helped with the high ship count matchup, which they didn't do too well against, depending on what they were facing. So just need an extra shot. Here's a question for you. You've lost Conch Missile. Do you always default to cluster, or are you bringing Mag Pulse?
I'm bringing Mag Pulse.
Matt,
Really?
for the salvage.
Well, it depends on the rest of your lit. Like if you're specifically weak to swarms, maybe you take the cluster. But man, those Mag Pulses are really good.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I don't know. The potential for the double shots, one double modded and one single modded, is still pretty great.
But I do like Mag Pulse. It is a great piece of tech. The question is, going back to the crispy list, right? The double FO bombers, 2 FO, and Wilo. We're not even sure if that list is going to be viable in the same way, because if you look at Breach and Dread, there are no, or sorry, Breach and Dread and Gred.
Dread.
Sorry, there you go. Those 2 bombers. You'll see that on our list. There's like, oh, they haven't changed. They didn't change. Their tech changed. The things that they would bring changed, which we're gonna hit that here at the end. I unfortunately didn't get to update my upgrades sheet yet, but we'll be able to just pull it from the AMG sheet real quick. But yeah, so we're not even sure if Malorus in an FO list will need to function the same way. Because originally, like in something like Salvage, I'm almost thinking down the line, because that list suffered against Salvage. Like Salvage mission was one of the harder missions. Maybe we should have been taking Mag Pulse the whole time. There is a question about whether or not over time, if that list had been able to stick around, if bringing that Mag Pulse would be the right choice. But potentially in the future, Malorus might be your answer for at least having some tech in that matchup.
There's a good chance that Mag Pulse might have ended up feeling redundant when you had the 2 Chaff Cloud bombers. They kind of already filled that role for you.
True.
But we'll get to why Mag Pulse might fill that role back up.
All right. As we continue down here. Yeah.
I'm feeling my throat a little bit, but I disagree with everything everyone said so far to this point.
Oh.
Just want to know that.
Summarization.
Fair enough. Well, what about the next changes then, Marcel?
All right, so let's talk about right here. So we're gonna hit Hawk and Hound specifically. We'll group those up here real quick. We see Hawk, the change for them, lost 8 loadout, no change in cost, and then Hound ends up going up a single point and losing 3 loadout. How do you think that'll end up affecting the Republic, Marcel?
This is definitely kind of hitting them in the kneecap a little bit. And I mean, they're not the only ships that were available, but they were definitely the best ships. There's potential rescues in the horizon, let's say, for alternatives to the LATs in some way, coming in some of the other packs that haven't been released yet. But I mean, the Hound more than the Hawk was what was it at 22, 23?
Was at 23 and 5 points, now 20 and 6 points.
Did any of their toys go up, or is it
no?
Nope, just their loadout changed.
So I would say that it hurts a little bit, but Hound, not so much Hawk, but Hound at 6 points is still worth it in my opinion. You still put him in, you still put 7th Fleet Gunner on there, you still find a way to make him have a third version of support, and I'm saying actually it'll be a 4th, because the first way of supporting is rerolls, second way of supporting is pulling the strain, and the depletes. Third way of supporting is the 7th Fleet Gunner, and then you just find the 4th way to support, whether it's Corky Kriegs or something throwing. And you have a ship that has 4 different support methods for 6 points. It's still a beast, and it's still worth every point. But with some of the other changes, I think they didn't. Weren't there some changes to the other cheap ships, or in the Republic?
I think this is the only change in Republic.
Yeah, this is the only Republic change.
I want to toss this over up to our resident Republic player, James. Your thoughts on the? I know that you weren't a huge fan of the LAT anyway. You were looking for excuses not to use it. But
Oh yeah.
like, how do you think this ends up affecting Republic? What are your thoughts? More excuses not to use it?
Yeah, basically, it's like if you think you can squeeze a squad point somewhere, then you keep taking Hound. But I think Hawk is still a great support piece. Can still take 7th Fleet Gunner and one other helper piece. Maybe let me see, 7th Fleet and Wolfpack, or maybe 7th Fleet and Clone Commander Cody, or something similar, or maybe a 4-point missile. But I think honestly, it's time to move on to bigger and better things with these maybe some different options. With maybe we swap over to arcs, maybe especially with some of these 4-point arcs coming out in the Siege of Coruscant. But, go ahead.
In Duncan's version, basically all you lost, which is a big piece, mind you, but all you lost in Duncan's version of the Hawk was the Agile Gunner. Again, it's a big piece, but it's you can play.
You can get away with it.
Not
Yeah,
having it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either that or shifting maybe the C-3PO Corky around to something a little bit different, and keeping Agile, depending on what they value more.
Does Satine and 7th Fleet still fit?
Satine is
No.
10, 7th Fleet is 8, so yes.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry. I was
yes,
thinking of
yes,
Hawk.
but
yeah.
yes, but no. Yeah, I guess that's on
Yes,
Hound.
but no, there's no
No
Hawk.
Agile.
There's no Hawk that can take Satine, Corky, and 7th Fleet. That was the max.
Sure.
23 before.
So you basically only get one of those upgrades on Hawk,
Yes.
is what you're saying. One of the big upgrades. Okay.
BO and Corky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's keep it going. Obviously, we're going to be back for Republic because we need to talk about some Siege of Coruscant stuff. All right, Ryan, you sounded a bit sad when you hit this. There were some sweeping changes here in the Y-Wing. They got smacked around. Y-Wing's not allowed to be good. What happened?
I don't know if this is like a hot take or anything, but the Y-Wings to me got hit the hardest of anything that got nerfed in this update. When I look at Resistance Y-Wings right now, let's clarify. They're all 4 points, right?
Right.
Okay, sad that there isn't a 3.1 left. I thought they'd leave one of them, right? But not only that, they lost loadout on a lot of these too.
Too many toys. Too many.
Yeah, you lost. So when I looked at all the Y-Wings that I wanted to bring, I don't want to bring an intuitive interface Y-Wing anymore. Personally, I don't want to pay 4 points for a 7 health, 1 agility Y-Wing that is going to do less than it did before. Not even the same of what it did before. I've only really considered. Now let's clarify. Wartime loadout did go down to 5. So
From 10.
From 10.
Yeah. So
There's
that's
that
where
little
you're
bit of
saying
trade-off.
the -5 is making up for wartime.
In some, but I will say I think the only one that might have my attention is Lega with wartime, because Lega then can just take barrage rockets and marksmanship, any crit you get from that barrage rocket is unblockable with the wartime loadout ability. So that seems cool. But I have no reason in my mind to bring any interface Y-Wing anymore. It's wartime, and I don't even like a ton of them at all. And it's not even the Resistance Y-Wings. Moderate spoiler, there are 0 3-point Y-Wings in the entire game. And I don't know why. I honestly think there should be some that exist in every faction. 1 or 2. I don't think that's an issue. I mean, arguably, these were the best Y-Wings in the game because they had access to boost before this points update, right?
Right.
It was the speed that put them over the top. I thought, okay, maybe they're going to dock the Resistance ones a little bit and then give some other factions, the Scum, the Republic, the Rebels, some 3-point ones, and just even the playing field out a little bit. Nope. They're all 4 points, and I really question that decision personally. I'm not gonna hate on AMG completely for it. I highly question that though.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, they have an opportunity here. They've shown with, for instance, with the Empire, right? They took those academies and they made them those lower costs. So here's a question for you, Ryan. If they made the Kajimi, Spice Runner, and New Republic patrols 3 points and maybe gave them a little more toys, do those become possibly
I don't
usable?
want the generics to be.
Yeah,
I
do
don't
not
want the
put
generics.
the generic as 3. Jeez.
Yeah. Just pick a name person.
Okay.
Let that be the 1 3-point Y-Wing. I'm fine. I don't need the generic ones to be the. It's honestly the abilities were so no one ever that I remember. For as much of the Y-Wings I played, I never triggered Will's ability. I never forced Kai's ability. Shaz's ability was the only one that kind of happened sometimes.
I want to touch on that real quick.
It wasn't the abilities that were pushing these to be that much better than just the generics existing. It was that they had unique dots on them, so there's only X amount that can exist at that cost. So if you just make one of them, pick one, it could be Kai at I2, Shaza. It could be Chorus at I1. I don't know. We've never seen him on the board. His ability seems good. Is it great? I don't know.
I want to touch on that. You're saying that you're not okay with them making the generics the 3 points, but you're okay with having 3 generics at 3 points.
Yeah, I'm essentially saying they're putting a cap on it, but I don't even think they need to make 3 of them. If they don't want 3 Resistance Y-Wings to exist at 3 points, then make it 1, make it 2. Just put one of them back up to 4. Put one back up to 4 points. It's not a big deal for me. You're basically.
I just think they can do too many things.
You're
They have
pseudo-capping how many Y-Wings they can have at X cost by just making the uniques that cost.
Yeah, but if you give them a turret, a droid, a bomb, and all of the boost and lock shenanigans, it's too many things on one ship for it to be not worth 4 points, in my opinion. There's too many tools in the toolkit for you to be worth 3 points.
All right.
That's my opinion. That's not my mind.
That's why I leave it up to.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
yep, that's your opinion.
Yeah, because
On the other hand, they might be toting that fine line of they're at least in the loadout they're being given right now. I don't think they're playable at 4 points.
I don't disagree with you there. I think maybe they should have gone up to 4 and kept their loadout, or maybe even gained some. But doing the double ban hammer, it feels bad for sure.
Pushing 2 levers instead of just 1 at a time. I get that. Now, here's a quick question. I do think out of the changes, so many of the Y-Wings had been showing up in successful Resistance lists. I feel like this is the change that's going to end up affecting the Resistance list building the most. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you guys think?
So, the 3-point ships you consider in Resistance right now are Finn, Jarek, and Rose Pod, maybe? I mean, Finn is, by the way, really good. I stayed at 3 points. Sure. I mean, probably had to stay at 3 points because the Resistance Y-Wings all went up to 4 anyway. But Finn is still a massive value at 3. Jarek, pretty good at 3. People might take BB-8 more, and mess some points around to fit a Y-wing in. I mean, the list I'm considering trying out is one of the two Poes, whether it's Commander or Trigger Poe, Lega, Kaz, Finn, and then if it's Commander Poe, it's Jarek. If it's Trigger Poe, it's BB-8. I'll try it.
I think you were going to say something, Will.
I think the problem right now, I do agree that they pulled both levers. They probably, if no one plays them now, they just either give them their loadout back or whatever. But I think the problem was just that the wartime balance between them, because you don't want to give the wartime versions like not enough. Because right now I was actually building out most of them out, and they get one missile, a dorsal, and then like maybe marksmanship on some of them. Like the wartime takes up so much of their loadout. I just think that at some point they need to split intuitive and wartime Y-wings, like they did the 7 and the 7B. They're just like two completely different ships, and at that point they could fine tune those levers a little bit more, depending on if you're a wartime or not.
100% agree. I also think, I know Dion said that Resistance got hit really hard with the Y-wings, but I also think they might have got hit a little hard with I know we're not there yet, but also with the R4 and the R3 changes.
Yeah, and there's another upgrade. There's another upgrade too that got hit, that actually hit the most factions.
Slap. In the face. Well, we'll get there. If you haven't looked at the points changes, you'll get to find out later. As we scroll down, I think that is it for the... you know what? Hold on. We need a name. We need a name for cards that are normal. Like, not standard.
Customizable.
Customized loadouts.
Customize.
All right.
Custom.
All right. So we are done with the regular points. So then we just want to talk about the upgrades then.
Just
let's
the upgrades.
Let's jump to the upgrades. So
So what I was alluding to, so it's an easy transition. Notorious, 2 points up to 5.
Finally.
Honestly, at 2 was a massive steal. Anyone who could put on their ship.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
like you mentioned, Resistance, like Kaz loved taking Notorious. Ray sometimes took Notorious. That was scary. My Chewbacca took Notorious. So many things in Scum took Notorious. Colby took Notorious. There was one ship in every faction that probably could or should take Notorious.
Oh no, Moff Gideon could.
Moff Gideon could take it. I still consider taking it out of now.
Republic can't.
Yeah, Republic's got no illicit.
Republic is do
they're
they have
too
a
noble.
that has illicit or no?
No. Bo-Katan's legit.
Okay, so Republic is the only one that could not take Notorious.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's loading.
No worries. What was the other one? You want to talk about chaff clowns? What we alluded to earlier about the FO list.
Yeah.
The Founders.
They just hate crispy.
Chaff clouds from 4 to 9.
Ooh.
That's about the level of maybe it's too much for it to see play, or maybe not.
I was thinking 8 would be good, but 9, I'm not angry at.
No, 9.
I'm not angry at this at all. Bear in mind.
Who were really the worst offenders of the chaff cloud? I'd probably say Founders, Cad Bane, and Fire Sprays.
Yep. It's always fire sprays, guys.
It's
Come on.
fire sprays. Why are we not talking about nerfing fire sprays?
No.
I mean, if I had to fly a fire spray, I would still take it. Like,
you would consider it, right? Like, it's so helpful in the joust. Like, if people come right at you,
because if you're flying a fire spray, you're most likely putting, especially if you got one of the expensive ones, Zam, Bova, or Django, you've got a lot of your points into just one, at least almost half of your list into one ship, which means you're not going to have numbers on your side. You're probably flying 3 or 4 ships, and the one shaft cloud, whether you have a way of following up on it or not, just to slow people down and stress them, is just really great tech against swarms right now. And I think they struggle against swarms when you're playing against when you're flying a 3-ship list and you're facing a 6-ship. Let's say a 6-ship TIE swarm or a combination or some of these other things out there. That one shaft cloud will give you enough time to basically end up where you want to be. Grab some objectives, especially if it's the action-based objectives, and make them kind of spread out. And I mean, I think it's almost as effective as a it's as effective as a trajectory simulator proton bomb on a TIE swarm, or as effective as if a trajectory simulator ion bomb against ships with shields or ships that are big and chunky. It's really effective. It's worth the 9 points, in my opinion.
All right.
I guess on the same page, and still with the FO bombers, cluster mines went from 5 to 7, and prox mines went from 6 to 8.
And you know the thinking there, right? So they probably, my guess is that they put up proximity mines. They're like, solved. And then somebody was like, wait. They're just gonna put cluster mines on it. 'Cause that was the first thing. Because as soon as I heard somebody say like, oh yeah, they upped proximity mines, I was like, all right, we're switching to clusters. And then I went and I was like, oh.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Did they miss one more? Because I could still take Grudge with chaff missile and Connor nets and be the most very disruptive piece on the board.
This is very true, but at least like Connor net gets 1 damage, right? Like you get like at least in the damage department, 1 damage 1 time. That's it.
Depends on if you get ioned into a rock.
Oh, true. True.
You can bank your ions now. Yeah, it's not that. It's not
as dangerous. How
ions
much?
aren't as bad, and
Yeah, but you
it's
do
only 1
stop them
damage.
from K-turning if you could boost and drop it right on top of somebody.
Well, you stop them from K-turning by stressing them.
That too.
True, because you used to chaff cloud them, and then that would freeze them in a spot where you could drop the proximine right on top of them.
That's why I was saying, like, if you're flying against a swarm or something like that, it's great tech against objectives because half of the time they won't be able to take that action to pick up a crate or something like that, and also they won't be able to follow.
You don't get skill bombardier. If you want skill bombardier, it's only a 4-point bomb at most.
So here's a question for our fans of the FO bomber. What's the bomb of choice now? Is there an obvious one?
The electroshaft.
Well, yeah, it's the choice of it's the choice of are you taking electrochaff or not. You probably should still, like, man. I will say this much: you have a lot of loadout. If you don't take those 2 things, wow, the things you could do with those bombers between missiles and torpedoes and stuff. But man, those electrochaffs are just so good.
Yeah, if you don't take electrochaff, Grudge can just say, I'm gonna be, engine upgrade, prox mine, daredevil, the super prox bomber. He just has to get there, which is the problem that you don't have with chaff anymore.
Right, you don't have he's going to be more, instead of the early game ship, he has to be more of a mid game piece where you're getting involved in there, which the question is, in a list, is that worth it?
Yeah, he could be the ship you hold back for a little bit, get some of your back objectives, and once all the other ships are in the scrum, he finds a spot to dive in where they're not going to be able to focus fire really well, and then he's going to muck things up and really mess up the enemy ships. There is one ship that had no problem with the proximity mine change. That's bombardment drones. Their max loadout was 8 in the first place. They don't get delayed fuses anymore. They just got to default to Indy Calc, which is kind of what they were doing anyway.
Right.
They can still take prox mines.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the other generic change, which we mentioned. This droid change up here, R3 astromech going up to 4 points, and R4 astromech going up to 3 points. My question to you guys is, what do you think is the reason for this change? Because those droids weren't like tearing up the world. Is it because they became too auto-include? If you had a droid slot, it's just might as well.
I would consider that tearing up the world. To be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, but they weren't like, it wasn't winning anything. Like what? You know what I mean? Like
they weren't. So you got to think about that. Some people believe, I don't. Some people believe that the Rebel Alpha and like Luke Wedge and other Luke Wedge Dutch and things like that are back on the menu because of the FO bomber list and things like that getting not as much. False transponder codes. He's like, well, I can just stop it with a false transponder code. Not if you've got R3. R3 will just pop the transponder, put it back on there anyway.
very true.
So I think it's the R3 at least is a bit of a pre-adjustment to their adjustment. Like
Okay.
The Rebel Alpha was doing well until this anti-alpha tech started coming out. You got rid of some of that anti-alpha tech, or at least you lowered, you raised the cost of it. So they're kind of compensating by raising that as well. So that's what I believe, and also just like William or whoever said it it's just auto include. Every time you had 3 or 2 points, it was always those two. And that's
Why not take 2 actions at once? I think people have just been sleeping on them because previously we didn't take them because you'd rather just thin your X-wings out, or you're running more important things on your Y-wings. But now that with loadouts, I mean, if they're giving everybody a bunch of extra loadout, you were just throwing them in because you had enough loadout for one of these astromechs, and they nerfed the generic healing astromechs as well.
They banned them.
Well, whatever. Same
nerf.
difference. Big nerf. Nerfed them out to real extended.
they nerfed them and then made them standard.
Yeah,
6
that's
feet
true.
under.
There's standard loadout. Anyways, So I think people finally gravitated towards them, and who else was you really utilizing? Wait, does the R4 break Kova's combo then?
Yep.
Really?
Well, you just don't get heroic.
You don't get heroic. Yeah.
Heroic was the main part of it, though.
Oh,
It
get out of
was.
here.
Yeah, no.
double blinds on
Leia was
defense?
the main part of it.
No, it was so you could use heroic on defense, though, too, with Kova's ability. But
I'll ask you this
RIP on that. Those actually did hurt a lot of ships. James, your Republic V-Wings. I didn't realize V-Wings always took R3s as well. Why not?
Almost always, unless you're taking one of the.
It was like the first upgrade you put on this thing.
Yeah, I'll ask this question: in Exegol, how many R3 mechs do you think there were?
Out of what, the 100 and
Not a
something
lot.
players?
I think it was
How many lists?
Let's
100,
see.
105 players.
How many
105 players.
How many Rebel players were there?
Rebel lists were 10,
Really?
and then 13 Republic and 14 Resistance.
I'm gonna
I'd say there
say
was 20.
some of those Republic
Yeah,
players will
15
take
to
R3 on
20.
those V-wings. So I'm gonna say 10 lists at most with R3.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 20. That was my 1/5 of the list had at least one.
Yeah, so there were 9 R3s.
10, so close.
I know it was pretty close. But what about R4s?
Every Poe, every version of Poe, so it's a lot.
Yeah, every Zori, every
After
Colby.
that was barely any Zoris, maybe a couple Kovas. All the
Kovas.
Colbys, yeah.
Yeah, all the Colbys.
I'm gonna say a simple double. So let's go 18.
Close. It's 21. So I know a lot of people are talking about R3 should have gone up, but man, R4 affected more lists.
Who
So
was taking R4s? Kova? Like, who else other than those
yeah,
three?
Pose.
pretty much
Pose.
everyone that could take it. I mean, there were a couple of Jedi lists that took it just for some extra blues.
True.
Obviously,
I like the
Colby's-
R4P. Those were
I
Riot's
do-
days.
I do
so
too.
Like,
I like it better as
R4P
well.
exists. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Well, now you're definitely taking R4P.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah.
R4
Oh yeah. That's not
now.
the question.
That's not
now.
even a question. Republic just has now the cheat dial droid every 2 turns a game.
And then there's also some Finn Rouse who took some. Some Y-wings took some.
All the sheathipeds, yeah.
Yeah.
Sheathipeds. And then I think that's pretty much it.
Astromech really does cover a lot of ships these days.
It does. Only a couple factions though. But yeah, I think personally the R4 mech is going to affect more lists. But personally, for my list building, it's going to affect R3 is going to affect more because I play a lot of click.
You said some factions. 4 factions can take it, can't they? Is there an Astromech in Scum or Astromech in Separatist? I mean,
No.
no Separatists, no
Not a
Imperials.
single one.
But
No
R,
first order.
R4 is small ship only, so can't. That hasn't been doing too much over there. But here's a question now. So with these two going up 1 point, and they're still generally cheaper than most of the unique astromechs, but does this give maybe a little bit more like, hey, I might actually take a look at some of those astromechs that I've never used before because it's just never been worth really even considering them when you have these abilities that were just like, hey, make my dial better and give me more actions.
I mean, Chopper is 2 points. I'm trying to think of like, is there any other cheaper droids? Watchful Astromech is 2 points. That's a generic upgrade. I don't think that there's any other cheaper astromechs than that.
I mean, Trigger Happy Poe, at least the build I normally use, just lost munitions failsafe. Oh, no.
That's true. Oh no.
Commander
Genius.
Poe, maybe some stuff.
True. Genius, I guess.
Genius and R5TK, the shoot your own ship droid.
Oh, okay. So not a lot of other cheaper options.
Yeah. And then Larry Q7. There's a lot of 3s. Larry Q7, RTC4, R2HA, and R4. And R4B11 and R7A7. So R7A7 may see some more use within the Republic.
All right.
Wait, R787 is the crit droid, right?
Crit droid.
Yeah.
Crit droid.
We already did.
On my-
We already
He's
did
on my
see quite.
contract all the time.
Yeah, we already did see quite a bit, but we may even see even more now.
Yeah, true.
That's like here's my salvage tech. Done.
Guys, what does a Q7 droid do?
I know.
Lets you barrel onto obstacles.
And
it's
boost.
awesome. Oh, and boost, yeah.
You still suffer the effects of the obstacle. Doesn't mean you.
Yeah, and now you range 0 of it.
Anakin, I think that because Anakin, if it's a
Talking about the Naboo
Yeah, but it
Anakin?
doesn't let you boost off of them, just onto them.
Because you do still skip your perform action step when you land on it.
There's nobody has collision detector and a Republic astromech, do they?
That would be an N1 Starfighter.
No, not when you land on them.
Oh,
Yeah,
an
N1.
N1? Yeah.
I thought collision was
Anakin-
banned though.
Anakin still could use it,
It's
right?
not banned. It's just 9 points.
Oh yeah, that's banned.
It's not banned.
Oh, that is not banned at all.
Collision's good. Collision's good.
That
now.
is worth. That's another one. That's worth.
Actually, you know what?
Every
You know
one
what
of
does?
those 9 points.
You know it does fit in that list. Collision, advanced proton, and R7A7 on Anakin.
Yeah. Wait, no.
That's-
I want Q7. Collision detector.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant. Q7. It's the same points. Yeah,
All right,
Q7,
well,
collision, advanced
There's
proton
your
torpedo.
there's your answer, Dion. Is the craziest Anakin flying through obstacles in a Naboo starfighter?
Yeah.
Is he's using Q7.
There it is. All right. Now, before we shimmy on over to Battle of Yavin, something we gotta give a shout out is today is officially the last day of Tabletopto. At least the announced send off. So just an official goodbye to Tabletopto. It was
Who's next? Who's next, Ian?
who's ne-
Yeah, I got a tournament November 19th at
All right.
a local store in Michigan. What am I using?
So this last week we ran an alpha test for rollbetter.gg. It is open for people to start messing with it.
There were absolutely no problems with it. Everything went perfectly.
No, there were many issues. There were many issues. So it's not even in beta. It is in alpha. All right. So we were purposely trying to break some stuff, but we're gonna run another test on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday. By the way, if you want to be a part of said test, go to the Discord. Look for what's the name of the channel, James?
That is going to be Software Test. It's in the top of the community group.
That's right. So just go ahead, click the little computer icon there if you want to be a part of it. And just the more people that we can get in on these tests, the more we can stress it. Because I know that we did end up, we broke something with the number of rounds that we created. We were able to force weird scoring situations.
Oh, yeah.
So it was... We were putting it through its paces. That way, eventually, it becomes a strong and robust tool for the community. Shout out to Brian Gramble for the work that he's doing on that. So
Absolutely, yeah. We do have 25 set up for tomorrow, but we could always use more to really stress test.
That's right.
See what else we can see. What other bugs we can find. That way we don't find them during one of your events.
That's fact. So I raised my glass to Tabletop.to. It was fun. Thank you, Dennis, for your time and your work.
Yeah, was an excellent resource for the community.
All right.
I did enjoy the time lapse that he put together. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, I wonder, man. It's almost November 1st. Isn't it November 1st in Australia already?
I'm on TTT right now, so
I don't want to go. I don't.
You gotta drag me kicking and screaming away from here, Dio. My data.
It's all good. It was good while it lasted. We'll see what ends up happening. There it is. All right. So, the Battle of Yavin, friends, and the Siege of Coruscant. Where do we want to get started here? Because this is brand new stuff. So here's a question:
Do we want to touch on the Republic and Separatist? We don't know most of their cards. We could just talk about their points outside, just based on their overall ship, without just understanding that they have an ability and probably a couple upgrades or two.
Sure. So
some pilots we've seen the full cards of, but definitely not near all of them.
yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a big question. There's sensitive controls on the TIE interceptors. Spoiler alert. And what ship ability do the Vultures have? I'm starting at the bottom, going
I
up.
think they've already shown they're going to have network calculations, but all droids across all types, Tri, Hyena, and Vulture, all have this new thing called contingency protocol.
After
Which is?
This ship is destroyed, another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 with contingency protocol may perform an action even while stressed. It doesn't even say what action it can perform.
Wow. So it's going to be target lock or calculate.
It's really good.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, or barrel roll.
So you could focus barrel roll. You could barrel roll lock if you're a Hyena.
You could barrel roll lock as a Hyena. That is correct. That's a big one. I'm fully aware of that combination. That was going to be
Barrel roll, lock, pop,
That would be my Adepticon 2020 trick.
drop
Yeah.
some proximity mines on your face.
Here's an even spicier one for you, Ryan, that I think you're gonna like. DBS 32C allows you to, after you perform a calculated action, you may spend one charge to perform a jam action. How would you like to jam at initiative 6 during the engagement phase?
That's not how that works. Just when you take an action.
After you perform a calculated action, yeah.
At I3.
Yeah, but he's saying with contingency protocol
Contingency.
activating that.
Oh, yeah, that
You
sounds
kill,
great.
you
was like,
kill
am
my
I
ship
crazy?
by jamming you.
No,
No.
sorry, you have me in the mindset of I thought you were crisscrossing old 32C with
No.
No. The new Siege of Coruscant 32C.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the hyena though, right?
Yep.
Who normally coordinates.
Yeah,
Sounds
B
like
is
we're
bomber.
talking separatist first, Dion.
Yeah, we're starting at the bottom and going up.
Yeah.
I am starting
So
at the
I guess
bottom.
spoiler on the hyena, and all the hyenas we've seen point wise are 3 cost. It's pretty
Yep.
cool. 404 is normally a 4-point hyena in customize.
With a
It's
plasma
just-
torpedo.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
well, 32C. Do we know 404 has it all? I don't think we've seen his card at all.
Yeah, 32C is a plasma. I don't know.
32C is a
Really?
plasma torp. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's spicy.
Yeah, it is spicy. Yeah.
What about the vultures? They are all 3 points?
They're all 2, and then
2.
Butterbot, aka 311 Doofus, has 3 points. Just like
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
But
I'm
the
not
fact
sure.
that we have standard loadout confirmed 2-point ships, and the TIE fighters weren't 2 points in Yavin, spoiler, that's a big differentiation right now, which is cool.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have been with the extra hull on those TIE fighters, which we'll get to later.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Hull upgrade is back on the menu.
We know Count Dooku Sith Infiltrator is 6. It looks so cool. Grievous,
Oof,
Dooku
yeah, he's-
from Coruscant leaves you 9 points. That's a lot to work with.
That sounds like a fire spray to me.
Yeah.
No, stop it with your 3 points. Or stop it with your 3 ship stuff. Get out of here.
Yeah.
3 ships. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Count Dooku with that, his crew. What do we call it, Will? Count
Crew or do crew?
Count Dooku. Yeah, yeah, Count
Yeah.
Dooku. Is that ship's name?
This is an I-5 Dooku. That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
And
that's a big
roiling
difference.
anger means that force comes back quick. He just takes a strain at start of engagement to.
Oh no.
Yeah.
no.
If someone has him in arc, which spoiler, big ship, not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to be shot at. Jeez.
Oh no.
So he could. Wow.
Yeah,
Alright,
has
but
malice.
Dooku's literally saying shoot me while Grievous is like yes, shoot him.
Yeah, it will be hopefully exactly what Dooku needed to get back on the
I mean,
board.
the Sith Infiltrator in general, I think, is probably one
Yeah.
of the least played ships in the game right now.
Standard
Facts.
legal ships.
This also comes from the faction that probably has 2 more ships that are the least played ships in the game with the HMP and the Tri-Fighters. So the Separatist faction is a very narrow faction right now competitively.
What a transition into the Tri-Fighters, though.
Oh, yeah.
They have the Aflac prototypes coming back. The Flak Arfic. Close enough.
a
They're
brand new
standard
ability.
legal. Well, yeah, of course, but they keep their same high initiative.
Yep.
That we are aware of?
I
No,
believe.
actually, Dooku changed his initiative.
That's true. But
Much
they
changes.
still they get more options at 4 points.
The one I
between
find interesting here
those-
is DIS T81 ends up going up in points. What is this thing going to be able to do?
I mean, he has outmaneuver and afterburners,
Yeah, I'm pretty
and,
sure he gets a
yeah.
hull or
and has
shield.
a new ability that says if you want to reroll offense dice, the amount you want to reroll means you take that much deplete. But that one shot's going to be really good.
Right.
Same thing on defense. If you want to reroll some defense dice, you can do some rerolls, but you're taking a strain per reroll. So it's a really good one-on-one ship, and then just leave again.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
because while you're
well, no,
attacking,
no.
reroll any number of dice, take that many strain. While defending, reroll any number of dice, take that many. Or did I
Strain.
say it the other way around?
I think
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, depletes on
Yeah.
the shots and strains on the defending.
Exactly. But if you're only defending and attacking once, then those really don't matter because you can just blew away.
Yep.
I'm
what you
still not
wanna
sure
do
about
with-
5 points for a try that is keeping its 3-hull profile and
It's true. No extra health.
No extra health on it.
yeah, and can't take indie calc.
Wow.
It's got to be a network calc. It does have contingency plan, which is cool.
I mean,
It's
We'll see.
5 points feels like a lot, but outmaneuver afterburners is something no other ship has other than loot?
It's outmaneuver
24
afterburners
loadout.
with also a linked barrel roll to.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
you
double
can-
reposition.
Arrow link to evade and
evade, yeah.
boost link to calculate.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, and you
I
can't.
mean, those start or what did you call them? Contingency plan actions
Just a
to
protocol.
boost.
Protocol.
Yeah, to boost calculate all of a sudden while you're out there evading.
It's like, and
Yeah.
ooh, and I got you outmaneuvered now.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just barrel outmaneuver you
yeah.
because you killed my friend.
Yeah.
So good luck with this.
So far, it's just
I don't know about that,
T81
though.
with 5 points. All the others at 4, including 347. It's the other try that's part of this too. We just have no
Alright.
idea what the flak or 347 look like at this point out of Siege.
All right, now quick question, and then continuing on here for Siege of Coruscant, if we go take a peek here at the Republic, we got some points there as well. You have Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Shakti all in that 8-2. Oops, looks like I forgot to put their costs in there. What are those costs, boys?
So Anakin's 5, Obi and Shakti are 4. Those are bargains.
Oh my
Bargain.
goodness! I'm so excited. I'm so
But
excited.
honestly, so someone pointed this out. I think the best thing for Ada's is these standard loadout cards because it was so we had to ban auto blasters. We had to, but then now it's like it's really weird how they interact. They have a very weird thin line of like upgrades that can go on them that make them really oppressive offensively or defensively, or they don't get those upgrades and they're like never play, and then people just take the Aether Sprites. I think something like these standard loadouts where you can only give them these loadouts, but you can make them cheap, right?
Right.
This is where they could shine.
You can make them safe.
Safer.
Safe, true.
We don't know if they're safe right now.
True. We don't know. We don't really know yet.
Yeah, that Shakti ability is pretty neat, along with Obi's R4P17 modification. So no longer is it the pattern analyzer droid. It's you can have 2 charges, and when you would be dealt a damage card, if you're not defending, you can spend a charge and gain a string to discard it. So one of the most difficult things in the game for these low health or low hull ships is something like concussion bomb. So this Obi can really feast on those concussion bombs and just discard it.
All right, and as we go here to the next Republic list, we did a little preview here. We talked about Hawk and Hound, both of them keeping their customized cost, but they're apparently getting new abilities of some kind.
I mean, all the clones are getting born for this in Siege of Coruscant, which is seemingly very powerful. Basically allowing a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 of you can spend green tokens as if it were theirs. When they do that, the ship they took the green token from gets a string. And they don't have to share it with just ships that have born for this. They can share it with ships that don't, like Jedi.
Yeah, Axe is going to look pretty cool out there evading and handing that evade to Anakin. Here, Anakin, you have 2 evades this round.
Baller. All right, and then the V-Wings, Click and Contrail, going to be staying at 3 points as well. Their Siege Coruscant version, just some different options.
Excited to see those.
Now this is the one I was a little confused about. Axe in the Torrent, currently listed at 4 points. What can this man do?
4 points.
Got Barrage Rocket.
Nice.
Barrage.
That's
It better
4
be
points.
Barrage, yeah.
Yeah, it is Barrage. Yeah, Barrage
I don't really know if it's worth 4 points.
I mean,
yes.
His
all-
ability allows
an
him
easy-
to pass locks, though, too. So,
Yeah, so-
I mean, born for
yeah.
this and locks combined might be pretty good. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe not. And he has
And he
6
has extra
hull.
hull. He has extra hull as well. So
Yeah.
He's 6 then? So he's basically a tiny X-Wing out there with barrage rockets.
Yeah. Just no range 1/4 dice.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
And
big.
you have to keep your focus for offense. So
Still initiative 3 though.
I would rather spend 4 points on something else in Siege of Coruscant.
Yep, correct.
If you would like to scroll up a little bit, I got a nice segue for you. This was my hope for a long time. Like, give me back Arc 170s at 4 points. You're getting Jag and Wolf at 4. Oddball's gonna be 5.
They could literally have blink abilities at this point.
I'd be happy. I'm getting Arc 170s back at 4. Thank you.
With
To
Born
the
for
correct
this.
faction, mind you. The stupid rebels had it first.
Right.
Yeah, with Born for this on them as well.
Yeah.
At least, right? In addition to
Yeah, probably a
you have to
torpedo.
match an astromech or a gunner of
I don't
some
know if they're
sort.
going to give torps to the 4-point ones. I mean, they gave advanced proton torps to the 4-point X-wings in Yavin,
Yeah.
so maybe. I'm really curious to see how they handle like gunners or crew, because that's the big thing with Arc 170s to me. It's less about
So,
the torps and more about the gunner and the crew
right.
that you have. It's a 3-man ship, right? I think that's a more cool combination they can mess with.
That actually brings up something I just now thought about when you guys were talking about Obi-Wan's astromech, but now I'm thinking about these arcs as well, in addition to Han, that there's multiple unique names on these standardized cards, isn't there? Han has Chewie and the Falcon title. You were saying the named astromechs as well. So if you're running the astromech on your standardized card, you can't put it in with anybody else as well. I didn't even think about that. I just thought that was them as a single entity, but it will affect other builds then.
Yeah,
Look.
I know a lot of people are talking about losing R4P17, like the pattern analyzer version, which it is that mech is pretty good, but I think Obi at 4 points is better than that PA.
Sure. Well, I was just thinking that, like, man, if one of these 4-point arcs have a very important, like astromech or
Ahsoka
gunner
maybe?
on them, yeah.
Ooh.
Or could clone Rex or something, right?
Well,
Even just like Ghost
if
Company,
they're doing
maybe.
it canonically
Probably not Ghost
correct,
Company.
we're not going to
Probably
see
not
Rex
Ghost
or
Company.
Ahsoka there at Coruscant.
Yep.
That's true.
They were at the Mandalore.
We could see Cody though.
Yeah, definitely could see Cody. Could see a plethora of the other clones that we're used to seeing in other ships like that they're used to flying that could be used
Yeah.
as
Well,
gunner.
hopefully Oddball's not on Jag and Jag is not on Oddball.
Oh, that's how they do
I would
it. That's how they
assume
do
not.
it.
That
Yeah, because
That would be
probably want you
hilarious.
to take as many of these as you can in the actual
Yeah, I doubt there's
scenario.
gonna be overlap like
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, so here's my question for the Battle of Yavin. Do you guys want to see those points next to their customizable counterparts, or just look at all of Battle of Yavin together?
Huh?
He's saying we
yeah,
can
I think
filter
that- I
by
think-
Battle of Yavin, or do we want us to keep it as the full spreadsheet?
I think the direct comparison is helpful to evaluate their overall cost. Plus, it lets us look at other similarly costed chassis
All right.
for
Well,
that particular standardized card.
well, let's start. Battle of Yavin, Darth Vader. The customized version is 7 points. This Darth Vader is 6 points. So you get Vader at I6. What's different about his ability?
He has Defender Vader ability. He does not do multiple actions. He needs a lock to get his third dice. It's mostly his action, but he rarely will need to spend it.
I think it's better than the defender ability. It's without any of the downsides. You can still spend force on defense.
That is true. You can still spend force on defense, but you have the offensive Defender Vader.
Right? Better. I think better is a little bit weird though, because does the Battle of Yavin Vader have any way to regen force outside of the natural?
Hate.
It does have hate on it.
Hate and shield upgrade. He's a brawler. I'm gonna hit you harder than you hit me. When you hit me, I'm gonna get angry.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the access to things like collision detector, pattern analyzer, prockets. What is the other debris gambit that the 7-point version has?
No
So
chance for passive
there is passive sensors as well. Yeah, there is a big difference that 1 point gets you when you bump up to the customizable version.
I still think, I'm gonna say right now, every version of Vader is viable.
Oh yeah.
I have that 6-point Vader is there. It feels pretty good for 6. Like,
Wait, does he get
for a
afterburners though?
He
I gotta
does.
look at this.
He
He gets
does?
marksmanship, afterburners, and hate.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Those are his 3.
So you're just missing out on the barrel roll lock, which was really nice on him as well.
Barrel roll focus, you mean?
No, I'm talking barrel roll 7-point Vader's action
the bonus.
to then lock, or to grab an objective and then barrel roll lock as well.
So you line up for that marksmanship. He is a crit machine. He eats
yeah.
up medium and large
like
base ships.
But like you said though, it's a brawler now. It's no longer an ace. You're in there to shoot stuff.
I mean,
He's still really good at surviving. Like, hate plus 3 agility and that 3 shield, 3 hull. He can live and duke it out.
Marcel, you say he's the worst of the 3. I don't disagree with you, but he's also the cheapest of the 3.
I mean,
Theoretically, be
cheaper.
the worst of the 3 if you put them all head to head. Yes.
Well, let me restate it then. Point for point, he's the worst of the 3. You get more value out of the 9 points with Defender Vader. You get more value out of the 7 points with. So it's worth spending that extra point and making one of your other ships less good to bump up to old Vader, to old X1 Vader. It's not the same with the other boy ships, but yeah, I think this one 100%. That 7-point Vader is just head and shoulders above.
I think that we'll see in all of these examples where the standard is cheaper, there is a good reason that is cheaper. This Vader loses so much versatility that I can see your point, Marcel, that man, what you can do with the other 2 versions is very powerful.
Yeah, and so many options. You can do pattern collision, pattern afterburners, fire control. I mean, you can. And you can end up having like 3-4 actions in a turn. Sometimes it's pretty nice.
Yeah. So directly comparing those Vaders, I agree. Obviously, as you go up in points, you're going to get a better Vader. That also means you get a less of a squad left.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the balancing act. How much of what you want to spend in the rest of your squad could dictate which Vader you want to bring.
That's true.
Or you have to make that decision. You have to make either decision first. Do you choose your Vader first, or do you choose the idea of I want a Vader, but this is the stuff I want to bring, and figure out what you're comfortable with. There is also potentially a meta call too. If jam is prevalent enough, then Yavin Vader can be pretty sad because he gets 1 action. Now, granted, you could lock an object early to mitigate low initiative jam. But a Django with FTC can make that Vader really sad. Multiple jams can make that Yavin Vader really sad. Whereas a 1 step up 7-point X1 Vader has the multiple action capability to mitigate some of those issues. You might run out of force a little faster without hate, like Yavin has. Normally doesn't take hate anyway because he has a lot of tools to make his offensive maneuverability better, which is very valuable too.
All right,
Well, it does allow you to bring more ships like those TIE fighters, Dion.
Those 2-point TIE fighters. Watch out. Watch out. They're coming. They're coming for you. All right. Iden Versio in the Interceptor. We don't have quite a apples to apples comparison to her. Her ability in the Interceptor is in the ballpark as her TIE fighter ability. But 6 points. in a TIE interceptor when it comes to the cost of the other TIE interceptors. It is the highest, with a quick look here, highest of the...
Her and Soontir.
Her and Soontir. There you go. She's at that same cost. Playable, yay or nay? At 6.
I think a lot of people are going to say not playable for now, but I think she might creep into some dangerous spots.
I mean, if you're playing a 3-ship list, I don't know. It's hard to. 6 points is the same as the other Vader we were just talking about. It's no comparison.
Yeah, that's a weird combination.
Yeah,
comparison is comparing those two. But let me just get this straight. So she gets her ability every turn or every other turn?
Every other turn. And it's
Every
before
other
a
turn.
friendly TIE. So it's not just fighter, it's
Okay.
not just interceptor. Any TIE ship at 0 to 1 would suffer damage at any point. So like it's not just a shot. It could be from a bomb, it could be from an asteroid. If you do, spend 2 spend 2 charges and prevent 1 damage. So every other turn this ability
she and Rever's saying that she's got a shield as well. So she's coming into the first round of engagement with 5 health.
No, 4. She's a shield.
Well, with her ability.
And ability.
Yeah.
And
On
ability
herself.
is what I'm thinking. That you had to do 5 damage to this type interceptor to kill it in the opening salvo.
At minimum, yeah.
At minimum, right? Does that? What is Soontir then? What is the other I-6 interceptor? Is Soontir?
Well, 6 cost.
6 cost,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's Soontir.
Iden is I4, to also clarify that. So Soontir
And has sensitive controls as well, right?
Yep. Soontir
Is that a
15 points
comparison?
available to get a similar loadout to Iden, Soontir with Predator Shield. Fanatic is... What is Fanatic again?
It's the same thing. Focus to hit. If you're
So
damaged.
soft mod. I mean, Soontir kind of has his own.
It's like Predator. It's fine. Yeah.
Let's
But
just
so
say
you still get shield upgrade on Soontir plus some other stuff, right?
you get Shield Predator,
yeah.
and you still have 5 points left with a whole talent to choose from.
I mean, auto thrusters, Soontir versus the sensitive controls Iden. Man, I think I'd still choose Soontir in a direct comparison like that.
I'm over here trying to list build. It is interesting. I don't know how she's gonna fit in. I do not know. That'll
She
be
might be
interesting.
one of those borderline ships, right? If she's 6, she's never seeing play, but if she's 5, she might be too good.
Yeah, the ability to say, like, no to 1 damage.
Well, it's the what do I want to say? It's essentially adding an evade to your dice pool, which is
Yeah.
old school evade
Every other
tokens,
turn.
right? So she
if
could
people-
get 4 evades, is how I would think of it then.
And
People don't want to shoot her. She could, and they want to shoot something else. If they're close to her, they got to deal with her ability still anyway. And it's odd damage. So if that keeps a crate on that ship,
Oh
against that
yeah.
It could
go drop
cancel
the
a crit.
box. Yeah,
yeah.
just
Wow.
damage. Pick one of them.
Wow. I mean, I didn't say this about Vader, but at 6 points, you can't fit 7 TIE fighters with either one of those 2 pilots. That's a lot of ship.
Is that your? Oh, you can.
Yeah, I'm saying like 7.
Oh, okay.
7 ships.
Single modded.
Yeah, whatever. I'm still
Generic.
saying you still get 8 ships when you bring it up, though. But what about the other interceptors,
All I'm hearing
though?
with that many ships that are academies or like the simple TIE fighters, just let the bodies hit the floor song. 'Cause it's just,
Yeah, they will. They will pop.
Well, they're not shooting at Iden, then.
All right, for our other interceptors, all 4 of them, Sigmas 4 through 7, all 4 points at various initiatives and abilities. 4 points.
it's everyone's favorite Sigma. Pick your favorite
Oh,
number.
it's Slamming Boy.
Slamming Boy!
Yeah.
Slammy
6?
Sammy?
Slammy Sammy.
I think 6 is Slam. 7 was the sensor jammer. 7 loves other people's locks. if I'm not
The
mistaken.
7 is the lock one. Yep.
Yeah, he loves other. Yeah,
No, not loves other people's. He has a lock action, gets locks, and has fire control system. 5 is the like.
no,
other
what's the
people
free
lock 'cause
evade
he's got
one?
That's 5. That's sensor jam
Yeah.
evade.
Oh, yeah, but sensor jam is you want your friendly locks on enemy ships.
Yeah. So 7 works with it. Vader works with it.
That's right. That's right. Because I saw that sensor jammer one with X1s who had fire control system, so they wouldn't spin their locks. He would get sensor jammer, and they shot at the X1s anyways then, so it worked. They didn't want to be sensor jammered.
4 is also really squirrely because you get prime thrusters and disciplined with the ability to, after you perform a barrel, you can spend a charge to perform a boost. So when you disciplined, you could barrel boost.
Or system phase barrel boost.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, oh man, the Sigmas. I think at 4 points, they feel like they're in a good spot. I think you might see one or two.
Do they?
Slam me,
once in a
boy!
while.
And they're all four,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They all have hull upgrades, right?
at all
Yeah.
matters.
No.
For-
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
Everybody
all
but
four
well,
hull.
Iden gets the shield, which
Yeah,
is the
they're all four.
difference. Yeah, that's good value. 3 agility, 4 health at 4 points
Free attack dice.
with 3 attack dice.
Oof.
Yeah, I think when they were originally showing some of the art off, they did not have extra hull or shields.
They bumped them
I don't know
up.
if I'm going to try it, but you can do all those 4.
Yep,
and
I did look at
of
it.
The Zero Reaper with Palpatine.
Yep.
Okay.
Vizier Reaper. Oof.
I mean, I think people will reach for it, right? Why not?
Well, you won't
Why
be
would you
able-
not try?
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't sensitive controls and then coordinate them, but like,
Still personally hard pressed to not take a Vader in the list or to another archetype that's probably going to resurface. Well, it shouldn't. It's already surfaced, but it should resurface
Would it
more.
be-
But no one ever flies it.
would it be TIE swarms? Full
Yeah.
TIE swarms? Well, it sounds
The
like Jim, they're
ultimate
getting some
TIE
extra options.
Yeah, those options are Wampa, Backstabber, and Dark Curse in those Battle of Yavin versions. Wampa at 3 points, Backstabber at 4, and Dark Curse at 4.
And Mauler Mythal 3.
Oh, you're right. For Mauler Mythal at 3. So a bunch more options for TIE Fighters at Initiative 3. Are these TIE Fighters going to be competitive with the other 3-point options?
I don't know. Marcelo, did you have a chance to fly them more than once?
Yeah. After cheating, yeah.
Well, yeah. As a note, Mauler Mythal and Backstabber need to
way
be
to play
range 1 to get their extra
What do
dice.
you do?
Yeah.
Well, he was like range 2
Like
or
across
3,
the
it's
map.
fine.
Yeah.
like side arc instead of like.
Yeah, we were
range
thinking like Republic, where like it was like range 2 side
I
arc
feel
or
like Marcel
whatever,
needs to
right?
tell us his strategies and have us review them
They-
before
to
we
be-
go ahead.
To be fair,
It did need to go through a betting process.
no. To be fair though, up until the last 2 shots, they were range 1 of each other, flying next to each other the whole game. But they did have to K-turn and got separated, and he was still using the extra dice.
Yeah, and then you
So
gave
be
me,
careful
5
about that.
minutes for the list too. So I was like,
Yeah, didn't help you win. That's for sure.
Anyway, what was the question?
What do you think about them? Are you going to fly these over regular TIE fighters?
Well, depends on the list. So I have 2 lists that I'm playing with. One of them has Vader in it, so obviously less ships because Vader. But if I'm going straight, I added in the. I know Brian is making. I can't read it, but anyway, I added the ships that I'm flying there in the TIE Swarm that I have now. You can mess around with the loadout on Iden and Moff, but basically the ones that I'm doing is Backstabber, Mauler, Wampa from this Battle
Boy.
of Yavin, and then
Boy Wampa, yeah. Everyone's
Wampa,
boy.
yeah.
Boy Mauler, boy Vader.
Yeah, so
I just think of God of
Mauler and
War
Wampa,
more.
and then Howl Runner, Iden, and Moff Gideon, and that allows you to do Backstabber, Mauler, Howl Runner at Initiative 5, Howl Runner with Swarm Tactics to get Wampa, up to initiative 5 as well. So that gives you 4 shots with 3 attack dice at initiative 5. And then you have Iden and Moff just basically providing support. Iden obviously keeping somebody alive, and Moff Gideon essentially just doing what Moff Gideon does, which is adding an extra offensive mod a couple times a turn.
Yeah, I do want to reiterate that the Mauler and Backstabber only work with each other and Vader, so they are like a combo package. So you can't really just throw one Backstabber in there.
Yeah. And once they die, or once they start getting
start looks pretty silly.
Yeah, but I mean with the rerolls again,
and afterburners, by the way. I think
Afterburners.
I think Mauler Mythal is the biggest winner here, in my opinion. Like, he just needs to hang out by Vader. Yeah, just needs to hang out by Vader.
Give a 3-point ship, just hang him out next to Vader and say, "All right, be my buddy."
Why not Backstabber?
Hold that pocket.
Well, Backstabber's 4. That's right.
Yeah, Backstabber's 4. And if you just want a 3-pointer cheap to fit in your list, and you already got Vader in there, Mauler's a solid option.
Would you say Defender Vader is better at 9 points is better than Mauler and
Battle of Yavin? I mean,
Vader. It's 9 points. They're both 9 points. You get Defender Vader, or you
depends the situation. In Assault of the Satellite Array, you might argue that having those 2 ships might be
more ships good.
Yeah, maybe? X1 Vader gives you almost the same type of offensive output plus an additional 3-die gun from Mauler. At least for the first half of the fight.
I'll say it's been very noticeable. I mean, we said it on the Interceptors, but it's even more prevalent, I think, with the TIE Fighters when they have 4 hull, because Iden TIE Fighter still exists at 3 points. To clarify that, Iden TIE Fighter did not change at all. Not loadout, not ability.
She
not
should have.
cost. But she didn't, and we're here.
Yes, that's
True.
So, I tried out over the weekend a Yavin Vader that had Backstabber, Mauler, and Iden in the list. And I tried out, I think Faroff was my other 4-point ship. I never thought spending 10 points on 3 TIE Fighters would ever be a good idea. It felt way better than I expected. I don't know if it's great.
Well, they're all rolling 3 attack dice, basically.
Yeah,
right?
like Iden Ion Cannon with Elusive. So there's 3 dice there. And then Mauler and Backstabber just hanging out with Iden. Just like, you have to chunk through 4 hull plus the Iden trigger, which can get rid of a lot more damage than just 1 to finish off a TIE Fighter, get rid of like a whole 4. The fact that it is 4 is a big deal, because if you get some of those results where like you only block 1 off a hit crit or hit crit, and you have that hit crit on the 3, and you're like, man, do I chance draw the direct hit? Oh, I don't know. Should I use Iden now? Like, you're 4 hull. You don't have to worry about that now. And you're also I5. 2 ships that easily can trigger their ability to get 3 attack dice. 4 at range 1. They're dangerous. They're really dangerous.
Yeah, that extra hull means a ton for Iden's charge. Being able to let it go 1 more turn. He can handle it. He can handle it. Like, that extra hull is huge. To those TIE Fighters.
He can hold it.
Yeah, he can hold it. Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, is the 10 points of TIE Fighters better used for Mauler, Iden, Backstabber, or should you change Mauler and Backstabber into Moff Gideon and like 2 academies? Right, so those 4 TIE Fighters, less punchy, more Moff Gideon stuff around, maybe, or more bodies. I don't know. So there's a lot to play with right now.
Well, before we move on to the Rebels, I got one last question.
Yeah.
Are the Jingoists gone? Have we been freed from their oppression? Would you ever take a Jingoist over these other 3-point? I mean, clearly Marcel's not anymore.
I'm not.
There's better 3-point options. Better 3-point options.
Here's the real question. For our holiday card, do I just leave the pilot spots blank and turn it into a Sharpieable card and just be 3 TIE Fighter pilots you want?
No. It was a historic time. I still think it's... No, they deserve all the praise. They really had brought TIE Fighters back as like the filler ships. and like full swarms. So I don't know. They carried that faction for so long.
They did. They'll have a chance again. They'll have a chance. It'll come back. Maybe. Probably not. Well, let's go ahead. Let's move on to the Battle of Yavin. Rebels. We got the Y-Wings here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Y-Wings. 2 Y-Wings that we've seen before. No, is it 1 Y-Wing we've seen before? Dutch is the one we have before, and the 3 other ones are brand new pilots, correct?
Right.
Correct.
Like brand new names.
Yep. 3 new pilots.
So we have Dutch Vander, Pops Krail, Dex Tyree, and Hole Oaken. Dutch sitting at 4 points, which is the same cost as his customizable self, and so are the rest of those Y-Wings sitting at 4 points.
Yeah, let me see if I can try to remember them. Whole Oakland is, not only does he get focused target lock twice a game, he can also reload his advanced proton torpedo. Dex Tyree is basically a 2 agility ship. He just needs to be near his friends to be 2 agility. And Pops gets rerolls on his turret, which is an ion cannon turret. Then they all have advanced proton torpedoes as well. So I think that's the biggest difference, is that if you're okay with bringing an advanced proton torpedo, man, these Battle of Yavin, are looking pretty good. But obviously not everybody's interested in just advanced proton torpedoes and ion cannons.
Yeah, we did see some play this weekend, or sorry, on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah.
Of some of these Y-Wings going to work, going to town. And, man, that precise astromech gives you the best linked action in the game. That action into red lock. Wow. Cannot be beat. Will not be beat. Focus lock, range 1.
As a note, all these I have hopeful. The Y-Wings and the X-Wings have hope. That's right.
Yeah,
which is still booster focus.
Have you triggered hopeful and then a precise astromech yet?
No, we didn't see that. I did see somebody. What was it? Oh, they
boosted
Dutch
into range 1 to shoot a.
Dutch died, but hadn't shot yet, or had already shot, and gave another Y-Wing a lock when it shot, and then Dutch died, so that ship got to boost into range 1 to shoot the torp. Wow.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, these things are really heavy on those advanced proton torpedoes, but they don't lose anything, though. That's what's interesting to me, though. Unlike the X-Wings, they don't lose anything. Just long-range torpedoes, munitions, I guess.
3 points.
None of them are 3 points.
They should not be 3 points.
I will say, Dex is by far my favorite.
None of the Y-Wings should be 3 points, not even any of the dorsal ones?
No.
No, because they shouldn't be stripped down. They should have bombs. They should have all these other weapons and stuff.
No, I'm saying like in their loadout right now they have the dorsal ones. Let me double check. Like
there's only one with the dorsal. I think it's Dex.
I think they're half and half. There's 2 and 2.
Dex has dorsal.
Oh, is it Dex and Hull?
We've got Dex and Dole, both Dex and Hull. Auckland both have dorsal.
Yeah, that is different. Yeah, the Ion's clearly better on Pops and Dutch.
Pops with those
But
rerolls.
Dex is a standout to me, though. As good as that droid is on Hull, just being a 2 agility, 8 health ship in that Y-Wing, I don't care if you are initiative 2. People just won't shoot at you. It's very easy to trigger his hopeful.
Oh yeah, but then if you target your friends, then Dex gets to boost in.
That's what I'm
Shoot that
saying,
proton torpedo.
Yeah, he's really interesting. I think he might be the standout. But
I think they're all great. I think they're all great. They're all pretty great.
They're what Y-Wings are, is which is a toolbox. What tool are you taking there?
I think one of the issues I know comparing to the Y-wing issue we were talking about, the fact that the Y-wings being at 4 points here is, I feel like them being at 4 costs, their playability may end up being dependent on what 16 points in Rebels can be good, and does this 4 points of Y-wings end up complementing it, versus, because it's not a filler piece anymore. At 4 points, it's not filler anymore. It has to bring that first 16 points over the top if you're going to try to bring it competitively.
So let me ask you this:
true.
if these 4-point Y-wings are now, granted, I think Dutch has some play. Pops,
Dude,
maybe.
wait, can we talk about Dutch for 1 second?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Battle of Y-wing Dutch is printed at Initiative 5.
Yeah.
And would
Verification.
have been an amazing filler piece
That would have been
out
worth 4
there.
points.
Out there at I-5, handing people target locks like Wedge, like Luke. But unfortunately,
They forgot to print the cardboard.
yeah, they didn't put an Initiative 5 cardboard in that pack.
They had to errata.
Yeah, he has errata down to what his base chit says, which is 4.
Sad. So sad.
Yeah, that's real sad because I had high hopes for I-5 Dutch.
That's my headcanon on why it happened.
I mean, that's why it happened, yeah, because you can't have I-5. You can't. It's got to match the chit, the tokens. They're called base tokens.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
That's
they gave us
unfortunate.
copy pasta Thai whisper thing.
Yeah,
Why
it's-
couldn't they?
It's not great. It is my biggest fear on these standardized loadouts because they changed something on Iden too. It was very minor. It was just like how our ability works essentially. But that is painful to not be able to use the actual printed, the nice big tarot cards that they have in the pack.
Wait, I thought they fixed it on the card.
On what card? On Dutch?
Item
On the
ability?
printed card.
No,
for-
he's
No, I
got-
assume the erratas
No,
are there
the
because the
errata.
printed ones do not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow. I thought
So-
they fixed it before print.
No, you have to
Oh.
cross out your
Dutch
5
and
on your
Iden
Dutch.
are already errated wording.
Yeah,
And by Dutch, it's
rough.
just as initiative, and Iden clarification on her wording.
Yeah, so nothing too major, but it is a tough spot for Dutch.
I could see that being issues at local events. Like someone brings.
No, well, on stream he was shooting Dutch at I-5.
He was.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he was. So it's like people are going to make the mistake. It's unfortunate. Let's bring it back to I-5. That's the only way to really compensate for it. In
That's
my
how you
opinion.
fix it.
Make him I-5. Let's go.
So out of all the other, so if these 4-point Y-wings, if you feel are very good and worth their cost, let me start listing off some things that I think
Well,
battle with
yeah.
it for the same cost.
Sure.
Colby, Fen Sheathapede, transitioning segue. Jack and Garvin Yavin are both 4.
That's
We
true.
have even the X-wing Levin Tenza is 4. We have multitude of A-wings. Jake. We have Sabine. We have Wedge. How many of those, out of what I've listed so far, how many of those things are those Y-wings you taken over them? Because then you start running out of list
Dutch
space.
pops. I don't think it's a bad problem that the Rebel 5 ship has a lot of options,
That's a
or
good
the or that the what do I say that people actually are taking these. They should be taking the Battle of Yavin Y-wings over some of these other counterparts. The big difference to me is that they don't have bombs though, which man really I feel like I always try to bring a bomb if I can.
Especially on the Y-wings, there's something about that late game Y-wing drop. If your list isn't focused on bombs, but so many times opponents just forget about it.
Oh yeah. Everyone forgets about click seismic until it's too late.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's transition to our last Actually, nope. I jumped over one, didn't I? I jumped over the
Ooh,
YT
that's-
1300.
It's a big one.
Han
big one.
Solo,
It's a big one.
7 points. The matching that same points as that Outer Rim Smuggler, but for Initiative 6, 7 points. That seems pretty solid. Just not even mentioning loadout. That seems pretty solid.
Yeah, I did have a chance to fly this. He's got focus, or he's got technically evade into focus, white, linked action from Chewbacca crew. He can coordinate. He's got 4 charges to either coordinate or reroll. And he's got the Millennium Falcon reroll as well. He is a beast out there for 7 points.
That's a focus evade reroll every
turn.
Yeah.
Every turn.
Until
You
you
can't
run out
bump
of
though.
charges.
No.
No.
Defensive reroll. Focus evade reroll defensively every turn.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the coordinate does require him to hit, but you have he needs a weird spot where he's range 2 of his friend, because you want to be able to use your rerolls with your solo ability, but then you also want to be able to coordinate after you attack somebody as well. So
It's still restricted on the normal coordinate range then,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's a coordinate action, or it might just be a coordinate. It might not be an action. It is an action.
I think my one issue is, sure, this Han is probably going to get 3 hits on his results if he wants to in the early games. But because he's shooting first, it's very likely a lot of his targets are going to have all their tokens for defense. They haven't
Oh yeah.
used them yet.
Yeah, no, people you would use when I was shooting ships, they would use all of their modifiers on Han shot to not be hit, which would drain them completely for their offense and other things.
Yeah, this is a very defensive Han, that's for sure. It can be.
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty of it is like you said that you do have the 4 charges, right? But man, once you're in the late game though, if you have like shields and you're 8 hull, you're getting those defensive rerolls. If you're out there just side arc turreting, it's going to be real difficult if you can get through. Get difficult to take down if you can get it through the early game.
Let's keep it going here to the X-Wings. We have Biggs Darklighter, Garvin Dreas, Jack Porkins, Luke Skywalker, and Wedge Antilles. Those are our battle of Yavin pilots for the X-Wing. We have in cost order Garvin and Jack sitting at 4 points, Wedge and Biggs sitting at 5 points, and then Luke Skywalker all by his lonesome at 6 points. That's the same cost as his customizable pilot, as well as the same cost as Wedge Antilles.
Customizable.
Yes.
Wait, Wedge and Luke are the same price?
They
Wow.
always have been.
Always have been.
Wow.
Well,
I thought he was 7.
Luke used to be 7.
Okay.
He got a lot more stuff before that. He had, like, when outmaneuver was cheaper, he got afterburners outmaneuver and a torpedo and a stick to
Gotcha.
beam.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was
got all
a
the
crazy
things.
Luke.
I think the standouts here are the 4 points, the 4 point X-Wings, but they do not get. We were kind of talking about this before the podcast, as Will was mentioning earlier. They don't get the boost action from the S foils or
yeah, Jack could only
attack
boost when he
speed.
dies.
Yeah, that's true. He does get a boost. He gets
He
one
gets a
boost. It's actually
I
a
did it.
maneuver boost. It's a maneuver boost.
Yeah, he did it. There you go. Look at him.
So yeah,
You can hold it though. No, it's never gonna die.
Yeah. Them only having the 4 points, they do get proton torpedoes for 4 points.
Advanced proton torpedoes.
Oh, those
Big difference.
Wow.
Big difference.
Okay.
Advanced.
Wow. Ugh.
Garvin and Jack had advanced proton torpedoes and hull healing droids. So both not great options,
I don't like
which
that.
is, and they get
They're
no
there
boost.
for a 3-die attack ship. And by the way, we used to remember an old combination, Hare and Garvin. Now 1 point cheaper.
It is.
Yeah, well, Wedge is also 1 point cheaper, so that list is Heratani's full, ready to go.
But
Yeah.
that wedge is definitely is a different ability. Let's remind people that while you perform only a primary attack, if there is another friendly ship in the defender's firing arcs. So when Wedge is shooting someone, the defender has to have one of your friends in their arc, then they roll one less defense on a primary attack only.
Yeah, if your opponent's running away, he doesn't get his bonus.
Yeah. It's basically the same ability, but only on primary, and you got to be looking at his friends. So,
do we also mention that he's I5? Big change there as well.
Yeah.
Not super wedge yet.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people mentioning Biggs in the chat. Just because I had someone run into this over the weekend, I wanted to clarify Biggs' ability too. During the system phase, you may choose one friendly ship at range 1. Okay, system phase, friendly ship, range 1. If you do, treat your initiative as equal to the chosen ship's initiative until the end of the activation phase.
What phase is that?
I had some people misuse that as end of engagement phase.
Oh, no.
He cannot shoot at the same initiative of his friend, but he gets to activate and take his actions, which is still good.
Right.
But it ain't all of it.
Yeah. He has 5 points with proton torpedoes and selfless, and R2D2. So still pretty good.
R2F2.
It's R2D2 with a new base plate on it. So well, I guess it's
same ability.
R2 Astromech with a new faceplate.
Right. So which for your opinion best X-wing out of the set? Rapid fire here.
Jack.
Jack for the laughs.
But he can hold it.
It's Jack or Garvin.
Yeah, it's both probably. Both of them together.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to seeing where these X-Wings, Y-Wings, TIE Fighters, Interceptors end up. If there was one card out of Battle of Yavin that you're most excited to list build with, what is it? I wanna go mess around with the Sigmas. I think that's where I'm gonna start. James agrees on the Sigmas. Marcel?
I want to try out the Han.
All right. Brian?
I think I'm going to try out many permutations of lists with Yavin Vader. See if he's worth the 6 instead of what I can get with 7 or 9.
Will?
Yeah, it's Garvin and Jack. They're going to be staples in all of my 5-ship Rebel lists from now on.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us this evening as we took a look at those Battle of Yavin points and how we think it might affect the meta. We'll get some more into that next week. Maybe we'll start building some lists with these. We'd actually love to hear from you as to what list are you putting these ships in. And one more time, shout out to Tabletopto. It was nice to have you, and today is your official last day. Thanks again, friend. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Be smart, be safe, and hopefully you had a happy Halloween. Gold Squadron out.